Pleasant good evening to everyone in the class of Steele this evening. You're very welcome to the class of Steele Youth. And I just want to thank everybody. Hi, Ashley. It's good to see Ashley in South Africa. Ashley, it's very good to see you. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Steele. It's good to see you too.
All right. Pretty and we have Jail also from South Africa. As well. So we have Ashley from South Africa, Jai from South Africa, and we have Pretty Ukena out of Nigeria, Bishop Comfort out of Ghana, and we just want to welcome everybody to this evening's class. You are very, very welcome to the class. Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu out of Ghana. We're responsible for the South African region. You're welcome. This evening, we are going to revisit and emphasize and do a bit more in-depth teaching on the personal branding. We started this prior to the youth conference coming up. We started this session on personal branding, but I want to pick it up this evening again, and I want to do some justice to it as we go forward. So the title for this evening is Personal Branding. And it's very, very important when you look at who you are or who you are going to become as an individual. And I shared some points about this before, and we've been through this session. But for those of you who have gone through the first aspect of it, well, it's going to be a refresher for you. But those of you who this is the first time that you will be doing it, then welcome to this evening's class. And interestingly, just let me share the link. This is the YouTube link for this evening's class. I've just shared it with you in the chat. You can copy that link and you can actually share that link with your friends and partners, associates, colleagues, on your WhatsApp groups, on your Facebook posts. You're free to share that link with individuals there because this is one of our youth classes, and our youth classes are mostly live and available for everyone to review. With that being said, first I want to acknowledge and appreciate all of our partners, our associates, and our friends. I specifically want to acknowledge the person of Professor Carlos Santos and Ethos Asset Management brand, or the Ethos Asset Management Company, of which I'm a non-executive director. And I want to again commend Ethos Asset Management for the work that they're doing globally with the youth, with the communities, and different areas that their philanthropic works puts them in. Professor Carlos Santos continues to do a phenomenal work, and I look forward as the years come and grow, and we go forward with greater initiatives. I equally want to acknowledge Leaders Without Borders Development Center in the person of Dr. Hillary, Ambassador Dr. Hillary Ema. We just want to acknowledge him. We want to acknowledge in her absence, Her Excellency Dr. Anita Davis Defoe, who also is with us in the class of Steele. And we just want to acknowledge those individuals who play an important role in the development of those amongst us in the nations. So with that being said, let's jump straight into this evening's class. If you have any questions or anything you want to ask or anything you want highlighted, put it inside of the chat. And while I'm sharing in the class, I'll see it and I might respond to it accordingly, either during the session or at the ending when we have our question and answering session. So let's go into personal branding. It's all about your style. I am a brand. You see that right there. And most people are not aware that they themselves are a brand. You yourself as an individual, you are a brand. And the interesting thing in recognizing that you're a brand is there's going to be a stamp of approval or disapproval on your life when you show up. Think about what I just said. When you show up, wherever that is, there is either going to be a stamp of approval or a stamp of disapproval. You're either going to have individuals say, hey, here comes Dr. Steele. Or, oh, there's Dr. Steele. It is going to have an impact. As a brand, when you show up, people have a response. They have a response because your brand speaks a number of things that are very important. Now, interestingly, that's exactly what the class of Steele is all about. We're all about putting a brand in the world that is useful, appealing, understanding, versed, globally relevant. That's what we're trying to do. So why we have these classes and why are we investing so much time and resources in mentoring those individuals from Africa and around the world? And why are we doing it for, well, seemingly for free? It is for free. There's no charges for these classes and these trainings and these mentoring that I offer to the youth. There is none, or to you who are a part of this youth class. And by the way, you are as young as you feel. So we have Ashley, who is with us, and Ashley is one of the youngest there is, and I'm extremely proud of Ashley being the youngest in the class of Steele Youth. But then we have those who are in their 30s, their 40s, and we also have Bishop Dr. Comfort, our mommy. She's not very young in age, but in heart, she's very young. So my concept is this is for anybody that is teachable. That's what youth speaks of, being teachable. So your brand is what we're focusing on. We're focusing on causing you to be the best you that you can be. The class of Steele might stamp its approval on your character and who you have become because we taught you, we mentored you, we walked with you, we gave you individuals who would add value to you, we point you to people, resources, all of these great things that the class of Steele have done, which gives us a seal of approval of who you are as an individual that could say, I have passed through this year of training or mentoring with the class of Steele. But ultimately, it is going to be, what have you as an individual become? Are you better? Are you a person that when people see you show up, they like the brand they see? So focus on yourself today. What do I need to change about my brand? What do I need to add to make my brand better? All of these things I want you to focus on while I'm going through this training today on personal branding. Let's jump into it. Life is an interview. Life is an interview. A lot of people think of an interview in a context of when you're going for a job. That's it. But I want to declare to you and share some points with you based on some facts. Life is an interview. And everything you do, you're being watched. You're being watched by individuals who are looking at you for how you behave, how you respond. You're being watched by your parents to see if you're a good child or a bad child. You're being watched by your school to see if you're a good student or a bad student. You're being watched by your employees or those that are in college and university. You're being watched by your tutors and mentors to see if you have the right character, the wrong character. You're being watched and interviewed by those that you work with in your offices. You're being interviewed by those that are watching you in the governmental structure on the bigger scheme of things pertaining to how you pay your taxes,
If you get parking fines or fines for doing misdemeanors, they're looking at your lifestyle and your character. Your whole life, our whole lives are an interview. You're being interviewed. If you go for a passport is an interview, because when they pull up your file, they're going to look to see if you have a criminal record. That's one of the first things they look for when you go for a passport. Do you have a criminal record? And does that criminal record disqualify you from freedom of movement? Now, most people don't know that, but that's an actual fact. If you go for a passport and you don't get it, or take a long time and they don't return your passport or your documents, chances are there's some issues with your documentation. And the reason why they're not being returned is because they're doing an investigation and they're getting more information. That's a fact. A lot of times why you don't get a visa is because you're being interviewed. You might have filled in an application, but within the structure of that application, it's an interview. What have you given them permission to do? You've given them permission to check your banking. You've given them permission to check your employers, or if you're an employee, you've given them permission to check your company or your corporation. You've given them instructions and permission to check your legal status. So you're being interviewed. Are you with me? You get the picture. So your whole life, from the time you were born, you were interviewed. As a matter of fact, dare to say, let's go even closer. From the time you were born, they look at you to check if you're a boy or a girl. They were searching you. They were looking at you. Do you have this? Do you have that? That makes you a boy or a girl? And is this working right? Is that working right? You've been under the microscope from the womb. And I will dare to say even to the tomb, because when you die, they're going to document you have died, when you died, why you died, and there's a certificate that is placed in the registry of death for your obituary. So please see this as a fact that we need to be aware of. Life is an interview from the conception until the tomb. And even after the tomb, if you're so privileged to write a biography and persons are able to read it, they get to know about you. And if you're like me and others that are leaving a legacy, your legacy is going to precede you. You will have that legacy that others are going to look back and they will be continually inspecting you from the time you are born until you are gone. And even after you're gone, you are still being interviewed. Persons are going to say, do I want to work, or do I want to be a part of the class of Steele that has 100-year vision? So what are they going to do? Let's interview who was the founder of the class of Steele. And they're going to go through the documents. They're going to look at my life, my character, my background, and says, yes, we want to work with that company. Or we might say, no, he has an ethos or ideology that we don't like. But whichever way, there's an interview. If you get the picture, I just want you to wait. Just give me, the beauty of the class of Steele is that there is no time frame for you to get it. I want to take my time and make sure that when you complete this training at the ending of this year, you have facts that you could look back and say, I see what he was trying to share with me. The interview starts far before the interview itself, long before. What kind of impression do you leave? But long before. So let me give you a little bit of background about this interview for you to consider. For example, when you decide that you're going to go to school or college or university, this sounds so interesting to note. But they're going to look at so many things about you to get you into college and university when you apply. Or while you're doing the things that you're doing in life for a job, there's so much that they'll look at about you. When you apply for a job, before they call you for an interview, they already know you. Because while they were shortlisting individuals, they said, oh, Do you know this Dr. Steele? Who's this Dr. Steele that is applying here? Who is he? And they're going to say, oh, I know him. Somebody in the office might say, oh, I know him. I told him to apply. And they're going to say, okay. And they put you in file, consider you. And then when you get shortlisted, they're going to sit down and discuss you. Oh, let's look at him. Where did he go to school? Oh, he went to school in Barbados at the Lord's School. Oh, what did he do in school? Ah, he didn't do anything in school. He left school early. Ah, is it? So how old is he? Ah, he's 50. What is his life experience like? And the interview goes on. I'm talking to you. Because a lot of people in Africa and different regions of the world, not just Africa, but different regions of the world, live lives carelessly in their youth. They live carelessly, live recklessly in some cases and instances. And then when they find it difficult to secure jobs and opportunities, they want to know why. But it's because the interview started long before. And you don't look too good based on how you've been living, what you've been doing. A lot of persons in the class of Steele that have started with us, in the class of Steele youth, that have started with us have already advanced and gone on to doing other things. Why? Because they got a perspective and they were able to stop some of what they were doing in their tracks so that they don't find themselves in worse situations than they could have been in had they continued the route they were going in. So the interview starts long before. As a matter of fact, I'm going to keep using Ashley as an example because one of the things that most people don't know is that when you're at Ashley's age, 16, 17, 18, 19, and teenager, that's when a lot of people are scouting you. They're looking at you. They're looking at your attitude, your attention span, your ability to sit in different platforms, different forums. They're watching you. I never thought I would become a bishop, but I came up in church from my youth. Then I was in a youth ministry. Then I was a youth pastor, a youth leader in the church. Then I was a junior church pastor. Then I was in the men's class, in the men's fellowship. And all along this process for many years, over 20 plus years, I was being groomed and mentored. I traveled to mission trips all around the world and mission conferences. I was trained by the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. I was trained by Vincent Jr. out of the Pentecostal Fellowship, the World Pentecostal Fellowship. So I've been through some training and teaching with some great leaders globally that others have watched me over the years and have pushed me in a direction conducive to my character and where they thought I would fit best. And that's why I've qualified. I've become a reverend and then a bishop and greater things are happening. I've been recognized. I've got my doctorate, my bachelor's. So you continue to grow and develop in your path because of your branding. Every interaction is an opportunity. Every single interaction that you have is an opportunity. You're seated in the class of Steele. It's an opportunity for your brand. It's an opportunity for people to see you as an individual. How do I see Bishop Comfort? She's an elderly lady. How do I see Pretty? How do I see Ashley? How do I see Agnes? How do I see Jair? How do I see Doreen? How do I see these individuals that are a part of the class of Steele? How do I see them? Every action and interaction is an opportunity. Let's look at your social online media platform. A lot of people, when they first did this training with me, the first thing that I tell them is, I know you. And they says, how do you know me? Well, because I do my homework. I do my due diligence. I go and I check you out. I check you out on social media. I check you out on interviews with other persons. I check you out. Because if I have to give you my recommendation and put my name to your name, I have to identify with you, and I have to know that you're going to be identifying with my brand, the Class of Steele, or Bishop Dr. Michael Steele. Or if you come through the clerical side, I have to recognize with you as a Christian. Are you says I am a bishop, and you say you're a Christian leader or Christian teacher. I have to look at my blueprint for ministers and see if you match up. So I go to your social media platform and I see how you match up as a minister, as a teacher, as a Christian. How do you match up? What is your life like? Are you the real deal, or are you just wearing a title? How do you match up? Am I going to associate you with the Class of Steele and my brand, or am I going to reject you? Because you see, the minds and the hearts of our young people are very precious. And you can't just bring anybody to influence the people that you're mentoring, because you want to make sure that your brand is looked after well. I wouldn't want to bring somebody to speak in the Class of Steele and know that they're a pedophile, or somebody to bring them to the Class of Steele and know that they do criminal activities, or they live a life that is not scrupulous, you know. They live lives that are immoral or unethical. They have a criminal record. Why would I bring somebody like that into the Class of Steele to speak to individuals that I'm mentoring? When I'm 50 years old as the head of the Class of Steele, and I have never got a criminal record. I've never even got a fine or anything like that for any criminal activity in my life. So why would I bring somebody that has criminal activity in their lives? I walk with legal documents. All of my documentation, my qualifications, my certifications are legal. I was a past advisor to the Metropolitan Police here in the United Kingdom. I sat in the House of Commons under the British Caribbean Association as a juvenile liaison officer for the Caribbean states. So I have a reputation that is checkable. Why would I bring somebody that is shady and dodgy? Come on, somebody, are you with me? So your brand is important, and your interacting is critical. Who you associate and align yourself with is very important. The supermarket. Somebody says, what does going to the supermarket have to do with my brand? Well, sure. When you go to the supermarket, there are cameras. The cameras are watching you. Are you going to shoplift from the supermarket? The cameras will see. Oh, it was just a pack of crisps. Nobody saw. Nobody stopped you. But the cameras saw. It's recorded. You're a thief. No, I'm not a thief. Getting caught does not mean you're not a thief. Or not getting caught, should I say. A lot of people say, but you're only a criminal if you get caught. That's not true. You're a criminal if you do criminal activity, caught or not. Write that note down. You're not a criminal if you get caught. You're a criminal if you do criminal activity. You have the mind of a criminal. And what happens most times, if you really check it, is when a criminal gets caught, guess what happens for the first time? They says, wait a minute. If he got caught doing this, surely he must be a criminal. Let's see if he has any more dirt under his fingers. Let's check him out. Let's check her out. And they will check you out. And if you don't check out, you will have problems. All right? So your personal brand is important. You go into the parking lot and somebody decides to take the parking space that you were going to take, and you jump out of your car. And you didn't know you're in the parking lot for where you're going to get a job, or where somebody is important is seeing you. You don't know that they're in the same supermarket or in the parking lot. And you blast the person. And you blast them in the worst way. and you slap your bag in the car. Wax, take that. How dare you? And you behave in the most unseemly manner. And then you walk and he doesn't even know who I am. I'm Bishop Dr. Michael Steele. And then somebody saw and they say, hey, he's a bishop. I don't dare want to go to his church. Nope. Or her church. Nope. What am I trying to show you? You are a brand every single day, every single moment of your life. You're a brand. Manage your brand carefully. Personal branding. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, he said, personal brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. I like that. We quoted Jeff Bezos and we made that specific quote because that's true. How many of you recognize that when you leave a room, what is said about you behind your back is what matters the most? You see, a lot of people say beautiful things to your face because sometimes they don't have the heart to tell you to your face what they, what they want to say or what they perceive or what they think. They don't have the heart to say it to your face. So they will say it to you behind your back. That's your personal brand. That is who you are. When you leave the room, the impression and the thoughts that people say about you are people's opinion of your brand. Now listen to me. Interestingly about this statement, listen to me carefully. Sometimes people can get it wrong based on their perception or limited knowledge. Did you hear me? Wave at me if you get what I'm saying. Sometimes people might judge you and they might say something about you, but forgive them because they don't know you so well. But then there are other times that persons that say these things about you is because of who you are and how you behaved and what they think about you as an individual. So remember that your personal brand is what people say about you when you leave the room. A personal brand is your image. You are your own brand. Your brand conveys a message to your audience. Your brand defines your value and the benefits you bring. Your brand defines your value and the benefits that you bring to the world, to the community, to your church, to your organization, to the government, to the country that you represent or you are a part of. Your brand defines your value and the benefits that you bring. Now let's ask a question. Let's ask a very important question here. How do you differentiate yourself from your peers? This is a very interesting image. The image shows a number of white figurines and a red figurine. And the microscope or the magnifying glass is on the red figurine. This is you. How do you differentiate yourself from your peers? I could tell you one thing. And in this training for this year, you guys are going to hear me mentioning a lot of times about Ashley. I use Ashley as an example a lot of times in the class of Steele for a specific reason. there are over 170 persons that signed up for the Class of Steele Youth Program. Over 170. Listen to me. Over 170. Can I tell you how many have made it and stuck to it? 35 at the most, 35. 30, 35, a classroom. Why is that? Well, you see, most individuals that look at life and developing themselves, sometimes they look at it through the wrong eyes. What's in it for me? Can I tell you something really beautiful that I've discovered about life? What's in it for me is defined by what I want to accomplish. What do I want to accomplish in life? So the persons that started the journey and thought that they were going to get funding and money and grants and it was going to make their lives a whole lot better. They were going to get this 3-week certificate from Class of Steele that's going to say they were with me for 3 weeks. Are you joking me? Am I going to put my brand on you for 3 weeks? You must be kidding me. Am I going to say that you passed through Dr. Steele's teaching after a 3-week chill inside of a classroom that you might not even show up or you might not even stay long enough? And I'm going to say to you and give you a document on your desk that you are part of the Class of Steele? Are you kidding me? I spent 50 years of my life developing who I have become. The principles I live by, the morals I stand for. My life have taken 50 years to get to this place. Am I going to put my seal to somebody after seeing me for 3 weeks? You must be joking. So most people left. I see Ashley put her hand up. Ashley, is that because you want to ask a question, my dear? Go ahead, Ashley, I can see your hand.
Hi, Dr. Steele. I wanted to ask, how do you change people's perceptions of you? Because I feel that,
Go ahead.
I used to behave a certain way and I no longer just subscribe to the way because I've obviously grown and matured now. But I feel as though people still see me as that old way that I used to act, and I don't know how to change that. So yeah, I wanted to ask, how do I do that?
How old are you, Ashley?
I'm 16.
Laugh, Ashley, laugh, laugh. Laugh, let me hear you laugh, Ashley, go on.
I don't know. What do you mean?
There you go, that's what I meant. Ashley, you're 16 years old, and you asked such a beautiful question. Some adults should ask that question. but let me answer you. I'll answer you. And within the context of this teaching, you will get the answer to that question, but I will answer you directly. You don't. You don't, Ashley. You just be the Ashley that you are. And when you leave school, guess what happens? You get a label. Oh, that is Ashley. When she was at school, she was. Right now, everybody's just going to be knocking you from the left and knocking you to the right and trying to figure you out and trying to say, you're not like us, you're so different. And every minute you have to say, please, I'm sorry, but I don't do that. I'm sorry, but I don't behave like that. You're gonna do that. Actually, to be quite honest, you're gonna do that your whole life. You're gonna do that your whole life. You're gonna, I'm a bishop right now, and there are people that have, quote unquote, tried to pull me into things in business that are unethical. I'll just call it straight up unethical. And I kind of say no, I'm not one of those persons. No, I don't do that. And you're gonna have to keep doing that. And each stage of life, and the right word there is peers. How do you differentiate yourself from your peers? Because your peers are those that are 16 and 17 and 15 and 14 right now. They're your peers. And you differentiate yourself by just being different, by just being you, by just being Ashley. If one of your friends call you right now and say to you, hey, Ashley, I'm coming over, let's play. And you say to them, no, I'm sorry, I can't play right now. Come on, Ashley, what are you doing? I'm in the class of Steele, I'm doing mentoring. You're doing what? And he says, go to YouTube. And when they go on to YouTube and they see all these old folks, like Bishop Comfort and me and Joel and all these old folks, and you're sitting down there, they're going to be saying, are you crazy? Are you giving up your youth? Are you losing your mind? Come on, Ashley. That's life, my dear. That is life. Your father, your mother are pointing you in a direction to protect you, to shield you, to give you an opportunity to show the world you're different. How do you think I got here? Because I came up. Can I tell you some horrible things about me, Ashley? And this is in mentoring. Can I tell you some horrible things that I think about me? I got lashes when I was going to school for coming home late from school. I got lashes. My mom would tell me I have to be home by 4:30. And if I get home after 4:30, when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, I got serious flogging. Now, this is in Barbados. I was raised up in Barbados. If it was here in the UK, I would have escaped, because I would say, I will tell the council or the social on you, and, you know, it'd be problems. But in the Caribbean, where you're raised, that you get corrected by your parents for things that you step out of line. So I came up really strange, Ashley, as well. I was always in the church. And the interesting thing is, now that I'm 50 years old, I am so proud. I'm so fussy. I'm so happy. I don't have a criminal record. I don't get speeding tickets. I don't get fines. So I'm really happy with who I am today. Now I'm proud of me. I have 3 passports and they're all legal, and I can travel anywhere in the world. I've been to over 100 plus cities of the world, and I never get rejected anywhere. I go countries and they stamp my passport and they say, you don't need to pass through that line anymore. You could go straight through here. Why? Because I spent my life living the correct way. And when you check my history, when you check my background, you can only see he lived his life this way. Are you with me, Ashley? So your journey is going to look really, really strange among your peers. But what do? Keep on being Ashley. Keep on being the best Ashley that you can be. And every day you look in the mirror, when you wake up, you look and say, now what must I need to work on my brand to make it better? Always remember that. Ashley, did I answer your question? Please tell me. Just unmute yourself, Ashley. Did I answer you? And yes?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
And how do you feel about the answer, though? Because I guess you already knew what I told you. But how did the answer make you feel?
I was kind of unsatisfied. I don't know. I just thought you'd give a straightforward answer, but I'm glad that you gave the answer that you did. So yeah, that's all I can say.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much.
It's okay.
All right, what is your unique value proposition? What is it that is unique about you? Also known as your unique selling proposition, your unique, your unique value proposition. Tell us what you have to offer. What is unique about you? Why do you stand out? Why do you stick out in the midst of this vast universe of people? This ocean of people? Why do you stick out? What is unique about you? Ask yourself that question. When you show up or people see you coming from a distance, what do they shout? I'll tell you what they shouted when they saw me coming from a distance. Now, my mom's name was Sis Vorna. All right. My mom's name was Sis Vorna or Ethel. And everybody used to call my mom Sis. Okay. Everybody used to call my mom sis because her name was Sis Vona, and most people couldn't say Sis Vona. So they used to call my mom sis. So I came up and my siblings came up with a label: sissy boy, sissy girl, sissy children, because they call my mom sis. So the short of it is sissy. You know, if they call you Mike and they would hear someone say, hey, Mikey. You know, if they call you Calf, hey, Cashley. If they call Ashley, well, Ashley is already Ashley, so Ashley is safe. If they call you Ash, you know, say, hey, Ashy, what's going on, Ashy? You know, they wouldn't say Ashley, but they would say Ashy. So my mom's name was Sis, and I came up in a culture with my name being labeled as Sissy Boy. So persons who did not know my mom used to think the reason why people called me Sissy Boy is because I was a sissy or I was a gay person. So I came up in that environment wrestling with my identity. No, and because I was a Christian and a really nice boy, they thought I was a sissy. You get it? So I wrestle with that all my life to this very day. That people that don't know me just know that persons used to call me sissy boy, so they just assumed it. But my mom's name is Sis Vona. Anyway, so that's what they saw coming, sissy boy. Why? Because my mom was a prominent person in the community. My mom was a very she remains, and she's going to be 70 years old in June, the 15th of June. My mom will be celebrating her 70th birthday. And she was a prominent person, very well respected and well known. So as a result of that, I was labeled sis boy or sissy children, because the minute they knew whose child you were, they treated you with that level of respect. So I came up when I was young with my mom's value proposition. It was my mom's value that I walked with. Ashley, you're walking. Joel, you're walking. All of us are walking with a value proposition. Who are you? Then when I went to the Lord's school, after I come out of school, they says, oh, he's a large boy. You get what I'm saying? Because you went to the Lord's school. He's a large boy because you get now the value from the school you've been to. It doesn't matter if you did well or you didn't do well. You went to that school. Oh, he's a large boy. Or he went to Harrison's College. He's a Harrisonian. Or he's a Carmerian based on your school. You get a label. You get your value based on these things in life. I came up in the People's Cathedral Church in Barbados, one of the most prominent Christian churches founded by the Reverend Dr. Holmes Williams, who has gone on to be with the Lord. And I was there for over 20-something years, consistent, constant, stable in ministry, traveled throughout the world with crusades on the behalf of our pastor, for running the crusades for the pastor to come, preparing the crusades ground in the islands. So I became he's one of Holmes Williams' boys. Come on, somebody, wave at me if you get what I'm sharing with you. I want you to get it. I'm sharing with you those unique things about you that you need to understand are going to label you in your life. And they make you appreciate where you go, who you hang out with, and what you do. For example, Ashley, you're a young girl in school. When I was going to school, I was a part of the Chappie Chow gang. Now, what do you mean the Chappie Chow gang? Yeah, they were a group of fellas. One named Ronald, and one named Boucher, and one named Patrick Moore, and one named Lester Callender, and a bunch of us that were in the same class or the same year. And we labeled ourselves the Chappie Chow gang. Oh, he's from the Chappie Chow gang. He's one of Chappie boys. So in school, you'll get labels. Do you want to be labeled among those ones, Ashley? Pretty? Agnes, Bishop, Joel? Do you want to be labeled among those ones? Because they're going to say, oh, Ashley is one of us. What does that us mean? I walk around as a large boy, very proud. I'm proud to be a large boy. In Barbados, it was one of the top schools. And as a result of being a member of that school, you are part of the elites in our society, the government officials, the billionaires, the multimillionaires, the respected, but equally, we do have our share of murderers and killers and bombs and nobodies as well. Because that's what happens with your Illuminati. You don't control it. Now, why did I go into that particular point? Because your unique value proposition based on others and organizations, you might be a part of something, but it might not be you as an individual that is like that. Because my mom have 5 kids. One has deceased, which is my brother. So I have Andrea, Natasha, Sita, 3 sisters, and myself, and my brother that is deceased. On my father's side, I have Sonia, Tony, Naomi, Ashani. I have 4 sisters and 1 brother that is deceased, Orlando. So I have 4 and 3 or 7 sisters. It's me and 7 sisters. So basically it's 8 is enough, just 8 of us. 1 boy and 7 beautiful sisters. But we're all different. We all have different temperaments, different characters, different attitude, different lifestyles, different principles and values. Now let's look at this particular aspect, which is skills and abilities. Because the key word that I used here is your unique value proposition. Yours. What are your skills and abilities? What stands out about you that you like to do? Do you like drawing? Do you like reading? Do you like writing? Do you like listening to good stuff, watching documentaries or watching comedies or watching horrors or watching violence? What do you like? In your interests and values. So you have skills and abilities plus interests and values plus personality. Do you get angry easily? Are you easily troubled and frustrated? Are you a happy person? Are you a sad person? What's your personality like? Are you a good listener, a bad listener? Are you good company? Are you a good friend or not so good friend? What's your personality like? So let's look at some key elements of a personal brand. Look at some key elements. And I want you to focus on these elements clearly. Authenticity. Authenticity. Are you a copy of somebody else? Are you a clone? What do I mean by being a clone? Most people spend their whole lives being somebody else. And when you get a certain age of accountability, responsibility, or where you can make your own choice, you recognize, I don't like being me. It's not really you don't like being you. It's you don't like being your mentor, your pastor, your bishop, your Sunday school teacher. You don't like being the teacher at school that you emulate and you model yourself after. You don't like being your dad or your mom. You're not authentic. You're a clone. Are you authentic? Or are you wrestling with the box that individuals are trying to put you in? And you just don't want to go into that box. The strange thing about being a child and a minor is that you don't have a choice. When you're a minor, you don't have a choice, but it's okay. It's okay. Because that box that you're placed in gives you some boundaries and parameters to get accustomed to. And once you get accustomed to those boundaries and you respect those boundaries and you understand those boundaries, then you are able, when you reach that age of uniqueness, that age of being able to be the unique you that you want to be, then you're able to see what is authentic about you. Are you genuine, a loving person? Are you genuinely a kind person? Or were you just doing kind things because your mom and your dad made you do it? Are you genuinely a nice man or a nice woman and a man and woman of integrity? Or are you just that because you were not in the church, but when you go out Monday to Friday, you're a horrible citizen? There lies the boundaries and the definition of defining your authenticity. Reliable. Are you reliable? Can people rely on you? Can I say to you, I'll see you next Saturday and show up and you're there? A lot of the persons that sign up for this class of Steele and send us their passport and send us their documentation, they're not reliable. They're not reliable. You can't trust them. They say they will do one thing and you say, okay, I look forward to seeing you. See you soon. And then they don't show up. They're not authentic. They're not reliable. Reliability is very critical in this scheme of life. Reliability. Because people judge you based on being able to rely on you. Can people rely on you? Can people trust that you're going to be where you say you're going to be? Can people trust that you're going to do what you said you're going to do? Are you reliable? You need to be reliable. Excuses are fine. It's okay to say sorry if you do something and then, oh, I'm so sorry. I told you that I was going to meet you by this corner, but I'm so sorry. I can't make it. Watch this. Watch this. Meet me by the corner tomorrow. I'll be there. All right, no worries. For me, I'm going to be there. I'll see you at the corner. What happens when I show up at the corner and you're not there? Did you call me to say you were not going to be there? Did you call to apologize? Or did you 2 days later just send me a message? Oh, sorry that I missed you the last time, but I wasn't able to get there. Hello? Hello? Wherein lies reliability? Credible. Are you credible? Oh, I'm Dr. Michael Steele. Are you? Is that true? Of course I am. And do you have proof and honorable documents that declare that? Of course I do. People call me your lordship. How do you mean they call you your lordship? Are you from the House of Lords? No. That's not, no. I'm a bishop. And you call a bishop your lordship. But I have other titles that declare me as a lord. Your lordship, a bishop. Are you credible? Can people check you out? Credibility. Oh, he's my best friend. Definitely, he's my friend. Him and I get along very well. Is that true? If I call him and ask him if he knows you, does he know you? Well, he might not remember me so well, but oh, yeah, what? I thought that he was your friend. Are you credible? And then you're targeted. You're focused. You sit down and everything you do, it's targeted. It's focused and you want to accomplish something. You know what you want to accomplish. You know what you want to do. So you are targeted. You're not just shooting all over the place with your life. You're not just running in this class and in that class, and one day you're this, the next day you're that. One day you're in this organization, the next day you're part of that organization. One day you're in this political party, the next day, because the government got turned, you leave the political party, you jump in another political party. You're just all over the place. You don't know who you are. You don't know if you're a B or a D, or A or C. You don't know if you're going or you're coming. You're not targeted. Consistency. Are you consistent? You see, a lot of time when we started the class of Steele, I remember some individuals, they talk so grand. I love grand talkers. I love people that, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I watch them really closely like this. This is how I'm watching them. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'll be with you. I'm in this. The first 2 days, oh yeah. Second week, oh yeah. The third week, ooh. The fourth week, excuses. The fifth week, oh, I'm sorry, I was so busy. The sixth week, they're popping just to show face. The seventh week, you don't see them. The 9th week, the 10th week, the 11th week, the 12th week, they've been busy. No consistency. And then they show up one day. Oh, but what is the point of the class of Steele? What do you learn? And you ask yourself a question. Why would common sense and wise people that have things to do with their time show up every single Saturday of their lives to be a part of something for a whole year? Why would reasonable common sense people do that? Well, maybe because it has value. Maybe because it's something that is real and tangible and adding value. Maybe because the team that are behind it or responsible for it are consistent. Are you with me? How would you feel if you showed up and no, you didn't get any warning, you didn't get any information or any instruction, and I was not here? Why do you all show up at 5 o'clock on time? Because you've gotten accustomed to recognizing that we're consistent. Even when I travel to other countries, how many of you have ever been in the class of Steele and saw me in an airport? How many of you? And I was in the airport. There you go, Pretty. I see Pretty waving her hand at me. And I'm in an airport because I was on a trip and a flight. But the class of Steele youth is important. How many of you see me in a hotel room in another country? Yeah. Because I travel. But I'm consistent. And if I'm not here, I make sure that another speaker is here. Consistent. Communicable. I said it right. Communicable. I said it again. Communicable. It means that you can communicate well and people can communicate with you and they're comfortable around you, whatever age they are. The young, the old, the middle-aged. Ashley is an amazing young lady. She's a great communicator. The world is a better place and the next generations are in for a super fantastic human being in the Ashley that I'm seeing. Why? Because she's learning how to communicate at this level with the old and the young. The only place she's having challenges is with those who are in school and her peers. Why? Because her peers are not getting tuned like she is. Her peers are not sitting in the classes that she's sitting in. Her peers are not reading the books that she's reading. Her peers are not going to places that she's going. And as a result of these dynamics, her life is just so different than everybody else. But she's learning how to communicate. All right. I'm going to go on. The time is now 9 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock here in the United Kingdom. And we're gonna go on, and I'm gonna leave us, I'm gonna go on for the next half an hour because I want to get quite a few of these slides out of the way so that we can do part 2 next Saturday. I think we're gonna, let me just check something. 9. Yes, all things being equal, next Saturday we're gonna go into part 2 of this training. All right, so we're gonna go on until 6:30, and then after that we will have the question and answer section and further discussion. So let's go on. 12 ways to own and hone your personal brand. 12 ways plus a bonus. Number 1. And these are going to seem very repetitive, but I want you to observe them carefully. Your value is derived from many areas. All right? I want you to note this. Your value is derived from a lot of areas. There are many areas that your value is derived from. Your beliefs, what you believe in. These are the ways that you get your values, all right? Number 1 is your value. It comes from what you believe. I believe that this is good and that is bad. I don't even want to add any statements to anything because I don't want to infringe on any person's thoughts. So I will say, I believe that doing A is good and doing B is bad. Somebody else might say, but I believe that doing B is good and doing A is questionable. You know what I mean? Doing A is no, I will not do A. I'm sorry. My values, my skills and talents. This is where you get your value from, your skills and talents. What do I like doing? This gives me my value. I like lecturing. Ooh. So in the debating team, we need a good lecturer. Let's get Dr. Steele, you know, because his skills and his talent in public speaking, he's of value to us. Yeah, let's get Dr. Steele for this one. He will add great value. My experience, he's 50 years old. So that means you have some experiences. Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu is our mother and one of the elders in the class of Steele Youth. And her exposure and her experience and her wisdom demands and dictates that she's valuable to me as a mentor, very valuable. Because there are things that she knows and there are things that she has experienced that I've never experienced. I've never lived in Africa for any prolonged period of time. So I can't declare that my knowledge of Africa is even great enough for me to state a claim on Africa. So I need persons who have experience. Ujavanga Kavazeri, he lives in Botswana and he knows Botswana. He knows the culture. He knows the people. He knows the dynamics. He have an understanding that I don't have. So when he speaks, his value is derived from his experience. And as old as I am, I can't claim value in a conversation about Botswana like he does. Your strengths. What are your strengths? Now, there are people who are well-read, very well-read, and they are filled with knowledge, but they're horrible at communicating. They cannot have a conversation to save their lives. Ooh, but they could write you a paper and a thesis like a master. But then there are people like me that are excellent communicators. I pride myself. I do believe one of my strengths is my ability to communicate effectively. And as a result of that, there's a level of competence that I have when it comes to lecturing and as an ambassador and as a conflict, I do conflict resolution. So within those dynamics, I'm very, very strong in those areas. But when I was writing for my bachelor's, I want to confess, when I was writing for my bachelor's, it took me so long. It took me so long because I could talk it easily, but writing takes so long to write, and then putting it together, and it could be so tedious. But I had to do it. So it took me a while. But I had to do it because the knowledge was in me. But getting it out in a written format was a challenge. I have about 30 books that I have written and are in writing, and some not completed, some still being structured, and some I still want to tweak. And how many have I published and put out there? Not one. How long have I started writing? From the time I was 20 years old, I was writing. Why? Because I'm a perfectionist, and I want it to sound right, and I want to tweak it properly and have it perfect and all of that good thing. Who knows? Maybe one day I will publish all of my books one time and it will shock the world. Oh, he just got a brain wave, and all of a sudden nothing happens all of a sudden. Takes time. So your strengths, what are your strengths? Your interests and hobbies. What are your interests and hobbies? What are your roles and your responsibilities? What have you done? What are you doing? Your accomplishments. What have you accomplished? Actually, you're young and you're now putting on the ladder of your life accomplishments. I think being in the class of Steele, actually, whichever way, you are one of the persons that is going to be awarded as a choice student for me personally in the class of Steele. I am very pleased and proud to put my class of Steele brand on your name. I am because of your humility, your character, your respect, your attention to details. You sit there, you take notes, you are a student, and you're an amazing young lady. And the world is a great place because you're passing through it. Your father and your mother should be very proud of you. I believe they are. And those in your community. All of you that are in the class of Steele youth that are walking with us, our sign of approval are on you. That's an accomplishment. To sit down for a whole year every Saturday and listen to somebody telling you how to be a better you, how to be a strong you, how to be a committed you, how to know the world, what goes on in the world, know the dynamics, know the cultures, know the people. See past religion, see past political party, see past the color of your skin, and see your humanity. What are your goals? All of these define your value. Number 2, identify what sets you apart. Now, it seems like we have the same very thing, right? You see right here, we talk about value, your value, but now here we have identify what sets you apart. What sets you apart? And that's the question that you asked me, Ashley. How do I share with my peers that I'm different? How do I share? You don't. But they're identified. They are identified by the values that you have, the skills that you have, the experiences that you've had, the strengths that you have. All of these things make up your identity. So they're the same. And then we go on to number 3. Identify what you have to offer and articulate your brand. What is it that you have to offer? Again, your values tell what you have to offer. Your skills and your talents, the same thing. So I'm going to run through all of these, and it's going to be repetitive. But I wanted you to get the picture clearly. Your accomplishments identify what you have to offer. And tell people, what is your brand? So what is the trail of Dr. Steele's life that has him as a mentor? What is the trail of his life? His brand is as a mentor, a public speaker, an advisor to governments and countries and companies and corporations and organizations and individuals, a marriage counselor. What are his accomplishments? Are those things that qualify him in those areas? His experiences, my skills and my talents that were developed as a result of the experiences that I've had, my values and my beliefs as a result of the experiences I've passed through. I've developed some values, I've tweaked some, I've changed some, I've added and taken away some. Those are the things that identify what I have to offer, what you have to offer the world. My interests and my hobbies, I like golf. I could play golf. I can play pool. I like dancing. I like singing. I like playing games with my son. I could play Fortnite. I like chilling with my wife and playing games. I could play chess. So these are things that identify you as an individual. Then you ask in number 4, master the basics. I have 8 minutes to go and I'm going quickly, 8 minutes to go. Master the basics. What are the basics? Communication, speaking, body language, writing, listening. Oh God, when I was putting writing there, I confess, I was not impressed with that one. And just for the record, some of these classes are copiously penned by the First Lady. My wife is my right hand in the class of Steele, and she's an amazing orator, a speaker, and also a prolific writer. My wife loves to write. I can assure you that most of my books are going to be fully written and completed by my wife for me. That's the honest truth, because my wife is the person that likes to do the writing. She would sit down and she would write so many things. And I asked myself the question, darling, why when I'm talking to you, you write and take notes, but then you go on the computer and you type what you wrote? Why don't you just type what you want to type? I don't know. I guess it's easier for her to write and then go back, and I don't know. But for me, I like to type and get it out there quickly and done, or do VOD audio. I'm actually an audio person. I would do more podcasts. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start a series of lectures that I will do on a number of topics. And I'm just going to stand up and do the lectures because that's my strength and that's where I feel good about. But we're here talking communication. Master the basics. The basic that you have, all of us, is the ability to communicate, either written, speaking, listening, and body language. All of these are wrapped up in communication. When I was going, I think one of my successes in being a young man coming up in the church is I liked writing and taking notes in church when I was younger. Love to take notes. I would go into a service, and when the pastor is preaching, I'm taking notes. And the funny thing is, I used to wonder how I almost was like a stenographer, because I could almost write everything the man says. Listen to what he said. No, listen to what he's saying. Heard what he said. I wrote what he said while listening to what he's saying, and then it becomes what he said, and then I'm still writing. And I was awesome at that. As a matter of fact, I had so many notes and so many books. My goodness, because of moving from so many countries, I've lost all of those. But somebody somewhere in the world today might still have access to those books with all of my notes and my sermons and my thoughts and my ideas. So writing, speaking, body language, your other skills improve and add value. Environmental awareness, home, community, business, industry. Listen to me. I know what's going on in so many countries in the world. Some people ask me, when we ask this question, why is it that you could answer? Because I do so much research, so much studies, so many documentaries. I've read 21 lexicon encyclopedias. I've read Back to Eden. I've read thesauruses, dictionaries. I've so much. I love reading. I love knowledge. Add value. I'm environmentally aware. At home, community, business, and industry. And if you are going to be well-rounded in your brand, you need to be able to do that. And you need to do a lot of reading and studying. 3 more minutes. Do I have time to do one more in 3 minutes? Yes, I do. In 3 minutes. This is number 5. Number 5 of, I think there were 12 things. This is number 5. Build a community presence. Business-wise, be present. Attend networking events. Engage in your community. Join a board. I am a non-executive member of the board of directors for Ethos Asset Management. And I'm also an advisor, non-official advisor on a number of other companies and corporations that called me to just get my opinion. Build a support network. This is a support network, the class of Steele. Join professional groups. Ashley is in a professional group because the class of Steele is a professional group. And you're a member. And that's what you are, a part of the class of Steele. It's a professional group. It's not a group of chillers just passing time alone. But we do have a great time when we fellowship and fun. But then there's also a serious side to what we're doing in adding value to ourselves and others around us. Volunteer. Volunteer and do some things. The class of Steele Youth is a volunteer. It's a voluntary work for me. This is me giving back to the world. Nobody commissions me or sponsors me or pays me or endorses me or us to do this. Bishop Dr. Comfort and His Excellency Architect Olukoya and all of our team, this is something that we volunteer to do. This is our choice. This costs us, but this is our choice to give back to the world. And the reason why I do them as videos is because I want my legacy to go on for eternity. When I'm gone, I hope those videos still live on, either in your own personal archives or in the archives of others. Pay attention. That's the final one. The time is now 18:29, and I said I'm going to finish at 18:30. And the last one that I would mention is be present. Be present means that you show up. Once you show up, then you have an opportunity to make a difference. I want to thank you for listening to this evening's class on personal branding. And I hope that it has added some level of value to you. And the first set of questions that I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask everybody so that you're participating this evening. And I'm going to start with Jail out of South Africa. Jail, this is the first time that you've actually come to one of our classes. You were actually in our fun day yesterday in the class of Steele with the adults and the youth together. But this is just the youth section. What is your take on today's class? And just give us your feedback, please. Jail from South Africa. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Steele. I can relate to a lot of things what you say, especially to Ashley. And it is true what you say. She will be labeled because she's on the right path. And it's also true, some of our adults, we also need the guidance. And it's classes like these that grooms you and hold your character that I think should be more frequently and more people should attend, because out there we need it. And what the class of Steele is giving us is, it's priceless. I learned a lot in just one night, and I can relate to a thing, especially for the pointers, where you have to look at your inner self and see what value you're really adding. Is it just a potential, or is it? But the class of Steele, the first night, I am really seeing going forward and still doing it until I can't do it anymore.
Thank you so very much for
really fantastic.
Thank you, Giles. So that means that you're going to be, I'm going to be seeing you every now and then popping up. I want to ask Pretty, go ahead. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening, Your Excellency, and all the excellencies in the house.
Good evening. Yes, we can hear you.
Actually, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Pretty, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Well, it's a very nice section. The personal branding has been a very big topic. It's a wide topic. We've been on this topic for some time now. And every day is adding more value to my life. I try to improve on so many things I do. Some of the ones I'm not doing well, I try as much as I can to improve. And then the ones I think I'm doing well, I improve more on them. I make them my brand, like always showing up in whatever I do, showing up on time, trying to be reliable. You talk to someone and you are always there, you're consistent. Since I started the class of Steele, I haven't missed a section. I've not missed a day. I try as much as, even if I don't have battery or the light, I try to just make my camera on. At least I've made a lot of friends, and Jai from South Africa is my contact too. I met her on one of my platforms, and she contacted me and she said she wants to be a part of the class of Steele. And that's why she's here today. So the class of Steele has really taught me a lot, and it's rebranded me like this. So I want to also do that for other people. If I have the opportunity, I'll link more people to the class of Steele. Thank you, Dr. Steele, and all the excellencies.
Thank you so very much for sharing, Pretty, and also thank you for inviting Jail to the class. She had a fantastic time at our fun session. I think the fun session was a good one to invite her to, for her to break the ice. That was very lovely. Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Comfort, I see you have a guest with you because I could see two of you and one of them is not you. Good evening, Dr. Comfort Adu. Please unmute yourself.
Hello. Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening.
Bishop Dr. Michael Steele. I'm so sorry. I've been caught up in an event and it's almost time and I'm trying to get out so that I can make an input. Yeah. I take this opportunity to greet the First Lady, Her Excellency, and Your Excellency, Bishop Dr. Michael Steele, and all the excellencies in the house, and the young ambassadors in the making. I think this topic has been on class for some time ago. And I remember when I was in school, we have something we call signature team. It's a nickname we give to how we show up and how we present ourselves. And how you present ourselves will be dependent upon the manner of person you are or the type of person you are. So we learn so many things, how we speak in public, how we address seniors, how we conduct ourselves so that people can find the sort of person that we are not just any ordinary persons. So I'm glad that today you are teaching the youth about how to present themselves, how to make themselves set up. I'm glad about that.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Your Excellency, Bishop
Yes.
Comfort, I see that
Yes.
there's somebody else with a Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu that is right there. Is that your
That
colleague?
is my sister. We are in an event celebrating somebody's 70th anniversary. And that is the person who greeted me just now. She is Reverend Dr. Usman Okuna Frempong.
Okay.
She's inside and I'm outside. So I don't know whether she's seen on the platform or the line has gone off.
No, we can see her. We can see her there.
Okay.
Do you want her to say hello to the class or give her thoughts or?
Oh, I would have loved so, but the place is so noisy. They are celebrating inside, so I don't know whether you can hear.
Okay, no worries. Well, thank you so very much for being here for the young people. The young people are in good hands. I'm not worried. Once they're in your hands, we can send the ladies to mommy. So I'm very happy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Your Excellency. Thank you. And again,
welcome.
we have our daughter Ashley with us that keeps me smiling.
Yes, I'm glad she's come on class today too.
Of course, it's good to see her.
Yes, good to see her.
All right, thank you, Your Excellency.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, Agnes. Agnes, could you unmute yourself, please, and share your thoughts on this evening's session, please, Agnes?
Good evening. No, it's not fun day. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
No, it's not. Please, I'll talk to you. And today's class has been wonderful. Continuing from the personal branding that we've been doing, I was actually going to ask you some time ago that when will we continue with the personal branding? Because you promised to take us through communication and how to communicate and all that. So I was so glad today that I when I came on, I realized that we were doing personal branding. And from your lecture, it has awoken my interest to finding out more about what makes me stand out, what makes me different from my peers. Just as I actually asked you, and then the answers you gave her has prompted me more to look into what makes me stand out different from my peers. Because once we are all the same and working in, then what's your difference? What makes me more marketable? What will make my brand be outstanding? So I just want to say thank you for this evening. I think this evening, that is what I picked the most for myself. And thank you. And some people are asking for another fun day.
Some people are asking for another fun day. It was only last night.
Children are asking. So asking, is today another fun day?
when the next fun day come, I make sure that all of you guys know. I see the fun day was really good.
Your Excellency.
Yes, please. Yes, Bishop Comfort.
My sister is on. She would like to greet you.
Okay. Thank you so very much, Agnes.
Okay.
Hello. I would say welcome, Bishop Comfort sister, because I am not saying your name, so you're very welcome. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to see Bishop Steele. I've been hearing about you for over a period of time. I hope to be on one of these days.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. You're very welcome to join us. Any recommendation by Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort is one that obviously passed all the tick marks because she knows me very well.
Thank you.
You are very welcome, and let us offer our blessings to the celebration that you're having today. I wish you a fantastic evening.
Thank you so much.
All right, ma. Bye for now.
Bye.
Ashley, give your take on this evening's class, please, Ashley.
Okay, I liked what you said when you asked the question, what kind of impression do you leave? Because it also makes you think of being more intentional about the way you act and about the way you also come across and the way you present yourself as a person. And I also think it linked to when you said every interaction is an opportunity, which I 100% agree with, because if you're behaving bad or presenting yourself in a bad way, no one's going to want to, associate themselves with you. But if you act in a good way and also present yourself in a good way, I think people would be more willing to give you an opportunity. So that's what I took away from this class.
All right, Ashley, thank you so very much. Ashley, do you have a lot of friends that you think they would be happy, comfortable in the class of Steele, that they would enjoy this type of class?
No.
Let me ask you a question. Why not, Ashley?
I don't know. I don't think they're into things like this, I guess.
So what does that make you?
What do you mean?
That makes you unique. That makes you a unique person, because your peers, as you look at your peers, you observe your peers, you recognize, nah, my peers wouldn't be interested in this. So you doing this is your unique you, because you stand out amongst your peers. You are different because you look and you recognize they wouldn't do this, but I would, because you see a reason to do it. Now, let me tell you a secret about finding out what's unique about you. Always look at those around you and the things that you are not comfortable doing. Those things show you what's unique about you. When I go out, for example, I like dancing. I'm a dancer. But I don't drink or smoke or anything like that. And if I'm with somebody that's drinking or smoking, that's them. It doesn't influence me. I don't drink alcohol. That's what I'm referring to. It doesn't influence me, or I don't smoke, period. I've never in my life done smoking, weed or anything like that, because it doesn't influence me. So when you are among people in life, what you don't do that they do, and you look at yourself, then you say, I'm different. And you have to get to the place where you appreciate being different, where you like being different. Because most of your peers wouldn't come here, it could make you think, maybe I shouldn't even go there myself. But your strength tells you, I want to step away from being like my peers. I want to be different. So that's why you are here and they're not. And that's why, to be quite honest, Ashley, some opportunities in life, there's not room for 100 of you. Because if there were 100 of you here, then you wouldn't be unique, would you? Because all of them would be just like you. So your name is getting called in the international media around the world because it's only you. So bless you, Ashley. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Jacob, what's your take on this evening's class, Jacob?
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening, Jacob.
But today's class have really taught me a lot. That's to do with integrity that we learned the other time. And as a living human being, people have to trust you. People have to believe whatever you are doing. So your branding is very important when people see you out there, because you have to be credible. You have to be authentic, so that when people, whatever you say, people will believe. But if people don't trust you, they will not be, your value will not be appreciated by people out there. So today's class have really taught me a lot to branding myself in such a way that I will be respected in the society. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much. Jacob, just for the recording, state which country you're in.
Please, from Ghana.
Jacob from Ghana. Thank you so very much, Jacob.
Thank you.
Elizabeth in China. Good evening, Elizabeth.
Good evening, His Excellency Dr. Michael Steele.
How are you doing?
Good evening. I'm fine. Good evening, the other excellencies on the platform. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk. Thank you. Today's class has been so impactful. I just believe that every time we come for each class, there is a lot to trash out from maybe what you already had, and then taking new information and knowledge. And I'm very grateful for that. It's true that these days, the time and everything, we've been joining a little bit late. I think like the timing we need to take more time and see how it is now, because the timing has a little bit changed. Thank you. And today's class is just one thing I'd like to say here is just like, keep being who I am. That's one thing I can take away, because most at times, the places where we find ourselves might influence us, or people we associate with might influence us. But one thing I would like to just emphasize is just keep being who you are. Do not allow the happenings and people around you to change who you are, because whatever you do affects your personal branding. And also interacting with others, you have to make sure that, okay, you know that you are not just talking to anybody anyhow, you are not just doing anything anyway because you think that people are not watching. Everywhere we find ourselves, we have to know that the radar is on us and we have to protect our personal branding. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so very much, Elizabeth, and I hope that Ruth is doing okay. Everything is well with Ruth as well. She's all right.
Yes, just a lot these days that we have to handle, but she's fine.
All right, good. What time is it in China now, so that I know the time zone difference?
It's 1:50 p.m., almost 2 a.m. in the morning, almost 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the temperature like there now? Is it snowing? Is it cold?
No, right now we are almost getting to summer, like these days, this week. Yeah, it's getting hot.
Okay, can you do me a favor,
Mm.
Elizabeth, and take me some pictures of outside and around you, and just send me some cultural pictures of China, if you don't mind, to my WhatsApp, please, you and Ruth.
All right, all right. That, thank you.
Yeah,
That would be great.
that would be nice to see, see live and on the ground what it's like. I've not been to China yet. It's on my bucket list, so that would be nice.
All right, Your Excellency, we will do that.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, too.
All right. Uja Vanjiga Kabazeri. Did you speak on class this evening as yet? You've shared your thoughts this evening?
No, not yet, sir.
Good evening, buddy. How are you doing? I know you've been really busy because you're out of town.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I'm good. I'm just chilling right here.
Okay. How was class this evening? What is your take home?
Basically class today was basically a repeat of last week class, I think. So when I looked at what you were talking about, I realized that okay, I've got notes on that.
Yes.
And personally, I think first, as human beings, I think we are put on this world to for positivity. I know there are a lot of things that people are doing. People are stealing. People are doing all sorts of things. But I think the way God created us, He put us on this earth to kind of do positive things. So when I look at all the stuff that you put down on this class, they are designed to build someone to become that positive human being. So it has encouraged me to kind of check on myself and see whether I tick some boxes here. And I looked at some things like the basics. Do I master the basics? How is my communication? Do I write? And I realized that some of these things I don't do them, like writing. I'm not into writing that much, and like I have to be honest, I don't write. And also stuff like listening. And nowadays I've realized that I do look at myself and check if am I a good listener. How is my body language when someone is talking to me? Do I sit down and listen, or do I talk when they are not done talking? So these are some of the things that I do check on myself nowadays because of this personal branding thing, and I think it's helping a lot. And also, it also says build an online presence. So I do ask myself some questions. What am I doing online? Do I have some business online, and am I making money? What am I doing? Stuff like that. And also the community presence. And this has also encouraged me to like recently I've opened up a YouTube channel because I'm a maths lecturer for diploma, advanced diploma. So this is where I put some materials for people to go there, and for the student that I'm teaching and some of my friends and family, I put some materials there so that they can just go and look over and over again, and yeah, so that they can basically improve. And I think it's because of this class, so that's how I'm also giving back. I think certain things like volunteering, well, I haven't really volunteered that much, and I think this is a good class about personal branding, and you actually have to look at yourself, check yourself, which good things are you doing in your community and for yourself also. I think this is just designed to improve someone's character.
Thank you so very much, Udavanja Kazaveri. And I will tell you something. I went through your math lesson. You did a tutoring on a math equation that was so complex and complicated because I know you're a mathematician. And I'm actually going to tell you the honest truth. When I was going to school, I was talking to my wife and I told her that I hated maths. I really did, because I'm a mathematical genius. Yes, but here's the truth. I do not know the working in the system that they teach you it. And I always get the right answer, but the wrong working, because I don't have a clue how I got to it, because I did add it and take away and put this here and put that there and presuppose this and presuppose that. And then I come to the right conclusion, but the wrong working. So what you do is interesting. As a matter of fact, I smiled when even you made mistakes and I said, oops, oh, no, what's that? No. So I follow. And I just wanted you to know, I think that what you're doing is an amazing, amazing job. And you should really do it more with some of those equations, because those equations do challenge individuals. Calculus is very challenging if you really think about calculus as well. And I did a bit of studies on atomic energy and different things like that, and the calculations and configurations, and it's fun. It's fun to figure them out and work them out. But if you have a teacher like yourself who knows it, it makes the job so much easier and fun. So with that being said, I want to wish you good luck in what you're doing, and I hope that you continue to do it and just build on it. But be consistent. Don't just do one or two. Build a system where you decide, I'm going to do this 1 hour a day on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, and you dedicate your time to it. You don't divert to the left or the right, and you just do it. And that's going to serve you very well. It will build you a lot of content. It will also build you a reputation, and it will build your brand. And it will also increase your profitability, because other people will look at you, see what you're doing, and might say, hey, let's hire him to lecture on this subject. So what you're doing is very good. And I endorse it, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ashley, do you like writing a lot, Ashley? Unmute yourself, Ashley. Do you like writing a lot?
I don't know. I guess so. I guess.
Ashley, I'm going to challenge you that by the time you are 17 years old, 18, by the time you're 18, you should have one book written. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you to write a book, Ashley. And I'll tell you what the title is that I think would be really good for you. Existing among my peers while in an environment of elders. Existing among my peers while in an environment among the elders. Did you get that? existing among my peers, while in the environment of the elders. And the context of it in chapters is, who am I? Why do I find it difficult among my peers? Why do I find it satisfying among the elders? What do I want to accomplish in my life? And what are the conclusions of these revelations? Don't worry about it, Ashley. You could watch this video and you'll get it at the end. Just come to that part at the end of the video and you'll get that. But I think that you would put together a really amazing book. And the secret of the book, though, Ashley, is you will actually discover yourself and you'll discover your purpose, and you will also solidify your vision and your focus for life. You're with me? Writing a book is not only for those that are going to read it, but it is also for you to get a closer look under the microscope of, why do you do this? You might never have thought about why you're comfortable in the class of Steele. So you're going to pen it. Why are you comfortable among the leaders, the elders? Why are you comfortable? What is it that attracts you? And then why is it difficult existing among your peers? So as you write about it, look at all of the things, the points, and you put it in the scenario where it is a book that you're writing for somebody to read it. And when they read it, it answers their questions. But the answers to their questions are going to be coming through your experiences and you're writing it. And I think if you give yourself 2-3 years to write that book, write it at your pace, but choose the chapters. And sometimes you write content in one chapter and you Google and you get more research and more ideas, what other people think about the peers and teenage life and the frontal lobe and how you think, how you analyze things. And then you look at adults and how adults think and how adults analyze things. But then you also look at your dad and your mom, because a woman thinks different than a man, and you kind of have fun with it, even if it takes you 5 years, 10 years to write it. But the stimulation of the thinking, I think it will serve you well, Ashley. And I would love to read that book, and I would also love to endorse it for you. And if you start it, when you get to places and you want to have a meeting with me and discussions, or anybody, just call them and tell them I would like to have a meeting with you because there's a chapter in my book that I want to talk about. And do it as fun. Don't let it become a chore. Don't let it interrupt your schoolwork. Just do it as a hobby, as fun. And I can assure you it will serve you well. What do you think about the challenge?
I think it's a great challenge, and I want to do it.
Yeah. And just write today's date when you got the vision, and keep this particular video to revisit it for inspiration every now and then. All right. And remember, the secret of it is it's about branding. It's not about feeling good or bad about who you are. You are who you are. Either you like something or you don't like it. It's not good or bad. It's just the way it is. So have fun being you. And don't try to be like anybody else or copy anybody. Let it be coming from Ashley. All right?
Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for being in this evening's class on personal branding. We're going to pick it up next week. We will pick it up from the other numbers. There are quite a few to go. I want to appreciate Her Excellency Bishop Dr. Comfort Adu in his absence. I want to acknowledge the president of the youth class of Steele in the person of His Excellency Architect Olusegun Olukoya. I want to identify Jeannie Steele, First Lady Jeannie, for putting this class together on personal branding. And equally, I want to thank all of you for being here this evening and your participation. And I want to wish you a fantastic weekend. And I will see you guys in the next class. And remember, as soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. Why? Because I have the answer. I have the knowledge. I have the skills. I have the ability. And guess what? I have the right attitude. God bless you guys and have a great week. Bye for now. Bye, everybody. See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Professor. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Joel.
Nice weekend.